Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, October 31st, 2025. Happy Halloween to everybody. I am Dave Biddle. I am joined by Jonah Booker, of course. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Was trick-or-treating, was that last night in your neck of the woods?
Tonight.
Oh, you guys actually do it on Halloween because Friday Night Football is such a big deal. I'm not saying it's not in Arizona. Playoffs are starting this week. Certain communities, most of them. There are a few in Columbus that are doing it tonight, but most in Columbus and I think throughout Ohio do it if they can the day before. So we had it last night. It was good. The rain held off mostly for the kids. So
the big game out here last weekend was Basha, where Miles Lockhart is from, Ohio State freshman, versus Hamilton over there in Chandler. Between the two teams, 36 players with D1 offers. They were the number 1 and number 2 team in the state, like absolutely loaded football game. I'm sure like there were college scouts galore at that game.
Ohio State's done a sneaky good job of like picking and choosing good players from Arizona for a long time now. Going back to Joe Germain and even before then and ever since then. I mean, just look at like guys like Lathan Ransom, Denzel Burke, on and on and on. Very interesting. All right, here we go. Yeah, I eat too much. I hear you. I ate too many of those like Nerds gummy clusters. My God, those things are addictive. Those are so damn good. Those Nerds gummy clusters, or if you guys have never tried it, don't try it. Yeah. It's like, you tell people, don't try crack. Don't try these gummy clusters, like Nerds gummy clusters. It's like you'll get addicted to them like they're crack. All right, let's move on. All right, prediction time. Buckeyes, Penn State, high noon here in Columbus tomorrow. All right, Buckeyes favored by it. Actually ticked down. I looked at it, at least the app I was using, ticked down to 19.5. Ohio State's favor. Over under is 44.5. I have my almost ready to go. Okay, we'll do the typical one. We'll go 3, 2, 1. I'll give mine, and you can give yours. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
31-7.
I have 38-9. I almost went 7. I should have done that just so we're actually added one that's exactly the same. All right,
you got 3 field goals?
Oh yeah, or like a special teams touchdown and they go for 2 and don't get it, and then they have to kick a field goal. I don't know. I mean, there was another game this year where somebody scored 9, Ohio University. So
yeah, you're a brave soul taking the over in this game, Dave.
I know. I don't know how they're going to get just like some type of like trick play or some type of weird. I think they might score a touchdown. I don't know. I should probably just pick 0. Okay, give me your score again. Was it 31-7?
31-7 Buckeyes. I think this is going to be an under game. I think Ohio State covers. They are 10-0-1 against the spread since Michigan of last year. I think they're going to make it 11-0-1. But I just don't think Penn State is going to have an offense to be able to put up the amount of points to keep them in this game. But I do think Jim Knowles is qualified enough, has enough knowledge of Ohio State's scheme and player personnel to somewhat slow this offense down. The curious part for me, Dave, going into this game, will we have a situation where Ohio State continues business as usual? Slow tempo, methodical, drag it out, limit the plays, kind of stand to their master plan, which is purposeful. If that's the case, then it definitely feels like an under type of game. However, that's kind of contrary to how you should probably attack Jim Knowles, because what is Jim Knowles' weakness? And Sonny Styles even talked about this on the Caleb Down podcast. He is notorious for getting the play calls in extremely late, meaning the offense is darn near breaking the huddle, and he's just now getting his play calls in. And then you compound that with the fact that he requires multiple checks at the line of scrimmage. I mean, I think Penn State's intern coach came to the podium this week and said there's something along the lines to where they have 6 different checks to a play in their defense, meaning that it's very complicated, so complicated that the players are still having issues with understanding the ins and out of Jim Knowles' defense, that players are having at Penn State to come and sit in on coaches' meetings. And I'm thinking to myself, almost like, that's kind of a malpractice for a guy that you're paying $3 million, that if your defense is so complicated that not only are players having to come and sit in coaches meetings, that he's not doing anything to simplify it to allow these players to play fast. And that's kind of a situation that they're in right now. They're playing paralysis by analysis football at Penn State. You saw it against Iowa. You saw it against UCLA. Will that happen tomorrow? And that's why I say it's fascinating, because theoretically you think Ohio State should pick up the pace and really put the pressure on those to get those play calls in and have them get those checks in quick. But that's not the way Ohio State has operated all season.
And the weather's going to be decent here, for the, first day of November, and it's starting to get chilly. Like every morning it's getting down to the 30s, and we'll all be doing the fan tailgate show, live right outside St. John Arena, between St. John Arena and Ohio Stadium. It'll be like in the 30s probably when I get there, and then the 40s. But by kickoff, it should be like 50 degrees. That helps the Buckeyes. Well, not that it helps the Buckeyes, but if you want to see Julian Sand throw the ball around a lot a little bit, it helps that out a little bit. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I think we both agree, me more so than you, that I really, really like Ohio State to cover here. I mean, you have Ohio State cover, especially now that it's dropped to 19.5. Yeah. It's like it's going to be really, even though I picked Penn State, I might do it over again if I had a chance to get 9 points. It's going to be so tough for Ethan Grunkelmeyer to move the ball. I mean, a local kid. It's a good story for him and everything from Olentangy. But, man, I mean, he's a redshirt freshman. Yeah, they played well against Iowa, but he threw for less than 100 yards against Iowa. And Iowa's got a good defense. Ohio State has the best defense in the country, as you know, Mr. Jonah Booker. This is going to be really tough for Penn State to move the ball. I love Ohio. I'm going to stay away from over-under in this one if I bet on it. And if I was going to allow myself to use my best bet as anything, it would be Ohio State to cover, especially now that it's 19.5. I think Ohio State's going to win this game, by – like I've said, I think they're going to win the game by 29 points, for example.
Right. Now I could see a situation, Dave, and Tom says it over here. Tom in Myrtle Beach said the Buckeyes are going to try to run it up on those. I could see a situation to where Ryan Day does try to rub it in No's face just a little bit. And on top of that, this is the last time these teams are going to meet until 2028. It's the longest standing kind of a game that's been on Ohio State and Penn State's schedule since 1993. These teams have been playing each other since pretty much Penn State joined the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah.
So could this be a situation to where Ryan Day said, hey, we're not going to play you guys for 3 years. I still got a little sour taste in my mouth about the way Jim Knowles left. You know what? Pour it on just a little bit just to make a point to these guys, considering that they're trying to pretty much come and poach some of the coaching staff over there.
Yeah, Buck Rational. Yeah, I'm just along for the ride. You can throw Anthony Rothman in there too. It's like you have all these legends on that show, and then I'm just there. I don't know how I'm there, but it's fun doing that fan tailgate show. Almost as fun as doing the Friday BM5 with J Book. We'll get to our best bets in a moment. The aforementioned. I do want to get to that. Mine's going to be a game tonight. Since I can't use, I guess we make the rules around here, so I guess we can break them. Since we can't use Ohio State as both our prediction and then our best bet, we have to have a different one. So I'm going to use a different one. But I do want to ask you before we get to that, I don't want to get off of Ohio State football yet. We can circle back around anyway. All right, what are you looking forward to the most, hoping to see, I guess, from the Buckeyes on both sides of the ball? I think I can guess what you want to see on offense. But on both sides of the ball, what do you want to see most tomorrow from Ohio State?
Let's start on the offensive side of the football. I think I really want to see Julian Sand continue to build upon that passing attack that we saw against Wisconsin, because I think now that his name is starting to become national, this is a time, in reality, he has a legitimate shot to be a Heisman finalist to get to New York. Not saying that he's going to win it, but he has a legitimate shot. These are the type of games to where if he goes out there and it's business as usual, 80% completions, and you allow him to throw the football down the field, this could be an opportunity to where he really catapults himself into that, let's say, hey, final three discussion for the Heisman. I just think that the offense operates a lot better and is more efficient whenever he's allowed to really strike down the field. I know they say a lot of times it's predicated on what the defense is giving them, as far as certain looks. If guys want to play man up, hey, good luck with that. That's why this is why it's so fascinating, because you're talking about Jim Knowles, who knows his Penn State personnel, has been at Ohio State for 3 years, knows what type of weapons that the Buckeyes are going to play. I think he's going to try to blitz Sam. I think Jim is going to try to go crazy here and send a bunch of crazy blitzes his way. How does Brian Hartline and Ryan Day counter that on the offensive side of the football? So that's the big thing. Let's get the ball down the field, strike, because that's how the offense operates as a well-oiled Lamborghini. What about you? Then we'll flip to the defense.
Well, I do find this interesting. One thing I don't think is getting a lot of airplay is like people talk about, well, Knowles knows this about Ohio State. Knowles knows that. Knowles knows this. It's true. Guess who knows Knowles better than anybody? How about those 4 defensive assistants who worked for him, who are still at Ohio State? You don't think Matt Guerrieri has some tricks that that Knowles likes to bring out? You don't think Tim Walton knows? You don't think James Laurinaitis knows? Of course, Larry Johnson. We know about the friction between Larry and Jim, and Ryan Day and Jim. There's none of that with Matt Patricia. So, yeah, I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it. It makes it fun, though. With everything that's going on with Penn State, I don't think I've ever seen an offseason line increase by 17. Ohio State, the offseason line was 3.5, as you know. Buckeyes were favored. Well, I guess now it's increased by 16. It was at 20.5, but still, it's just stunning what's happened to Penn State. Okay, so yeah, I definitely want to see them get the running game going. That's the biggest thing. Whatever they need to do to get this running game going, because I keep saying it, so I'm scarlet in the face. They need to prepare that November 29th in Ann Arbor is going to be nasty weather, just nasty weather. And if it's not great, but they have to go into that preparing that they're not going to be able to throw the ball. They're going to have to run it. So I want to see the running game get going. All right, defensively, what are you looking forward to the most?
And then before we flip to the defense, keep an eye on that right guard spot as well.
Yes,
because that's something to keep an eye on, because if Tegra struggles, Ryan Day's been very non-committal all week. You guys been asking him several times about that right guard spot. He doesn't want to kind of tip his hand there. I don't think he has the appetite to kind of say, yeah, we're going to go ahead and, let Tegra sit and watch for a while. I still think that they want to keep Tegra involved somehow. So just keep an eye on that. On the defensive side of the football, talk about Matt Patricia, his experience, coaching at the highest level in the NFL, having the game plan against NFL legends, to now you're game planning against a freshman quarterback who just recently threw for under 100 yards, has zero idea what he's going to see against this Matt Patricia defense. I want to see just a downhill, relentless, nasty, vicious defense, just making life a miserable hell for this Penn State offense. I have a sneaky suspicion, Dave, that Penn State, they are going to try to shorten this game as much as possible. That is their only path to victory. And their coaching staff even said it this week. They basically said, we have to outrush Ohio State. Once I hear that, my antennas go up. That's similar to that talk that you start to hear about Ohio State and Michigan, where whoever outrushed the others is going to win the football game. Once you start having Penn State coaches saying we need to outrush them, that says we're not going to put our young quarterback in a situation to where he can get his doors blown off here. Only way that we can do this is we need to get into the fourth quarter with this game within one score. And how do we do that? We're going to have to lean on our 2 talented running backs. And at that point, hopefully our offensive line can hold up. So how does Matt Patricia do that? If Matt Patricia is teeing off saying, hey, they're not going to be a threat down the field, move Caleb Downs into the box, safeties 10 yards heels from the line of scrimmage. We're going to go press man on the outside on the wide receivers, because you look at Penn State wide receivers, there should be zero fear from them. We're going to get up in their face, jam them, make them earn everything, and crowd that line of scrimmage. So that's what I'm looking for from the defense, because Penn State's saying that, hey, we have to run the football. Matt Patricia, shut them down, and don't give them an inch.
Yeah, and I like Katron Allen. I think he's a really good back. And I was always a little flummoxed that, like, why does he split carries almost evenly with Nicholas Singleton?
Yeah.
It was always clear that Katron Allen was the better back. I tell you what, Terry Smith takes over, and boom. What happened at Iowa? I think Katron Allen had like 3 times as many carries as Singleton. Now, Singleton still can be explosive out of the backfield as a receiver and on the edges, but like between the tackles, Katron Allen's a good back. So, yeah, it makes sense that they're going to try to run the ball. Emphasis on try against the best defense in the country. All right, let's get to best bets, my friend.
Man, I got spanked last week, boy.
And I even it was the jerk friend that like texted you like laughing about it. But I made fun of myself in the process. I made fun of myself in the process because I said, this is your version of when I picked Penn State, not on the money line. When I picked Penn State to cover the 24.5 points against UCLA, my theory was, they'll bounce back. UCLA's dreadful, and then UCLA not only covers.
Look, hey, I'm going to say this before we get into our best bet. The way Minnesota made Iowa look, Dave, I'm over there watching this game. I was like, Iowa looks like they're a real deal Holyfield. And I'm thinking, I was like, Oregon goes to Iowa next week, I believe. That's probably going to be where Big Noon is at. That's going to be a huge game. I'm thinking to myself, I'll be like, if Iowa plays this way when Oregon comes to town, that's going to be an absolute battle. But holy smokes, did PJ Fleck just go down there after getting a huge win against Nebraska where they played outstanding. They was on a little heater, and then they just went down there and just got absolutely spanked. My goodness.
They're one of those teams. This is why I think it might be good to take Minnesota and a bounce back. Maybe I should stop with bounce backs because they're actually pretty good at home and just dreadful on the road. And they host Michigan State, and they're only favored by 3 or 3.5, depending on what one you like. I've seen both. I like Minnesota to cover that at home against this Michigan State team that looks terrible, and especially playing on the road after that loss to Michigan last week, which was emotional for them. So that's not my best bet, but I did consider it tomorrow, Minnesota covering against Michigan State. I have a different one. I want you to go first, and then I'll put my best bet up there. Mine is a game tonight.
I'm going down to the ACC. I gotta get a win on the board here. I'm looking at Georgia Tech minus 5.5 against NC State. I know they're on the road. You're talking about an 8-0 Georgia Tech team coming off another big win. They have a shot to make it to the ACC championship right now. I like the way Haynes King and that Georgia Tech team is playing right now. NC State got absolutely demolished last week against Pitt. Pitt put up 50-some points on them and just blew their doors off. Even though this is at home, I still, with that short line, I still like Georgia Tech minus 5.5 at NC State.
Oh, it's an ACC feel here on the Friday 5-ish. All right, my best bet is, drum roll, please. Tonight, Syracuse at home, minus 2.5 against North Carolina. Now, Syracuse is bad. So is North Carolina. But, the Carrier Dome, I don't think it's called that anymore. Maybe it is a tough place to play. And Syracuse has been bad since Angeli was knocked out for the season with that Achilles, the transfer from Notre Dame. The quarterback they have transferred in from LSU. He's young. He's now had some experience. I just feel like if it was 3.5, I might worry about it a little bit. It doesn't have the hook. I think Syracuse is going to win this game by 7. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because Carolina's actually been playing better of late. They should have won last week, even though they were, like 11.5 point underdogs, I believe. So there's my best bet. I have Syracuse minus 2.5 against the Fighting Bill Belichick's and the Jordan Hudson.
The one thing about Syracuse too, Dave, is they, over the last month, they have probably had the hardest ACC schedule to date. So they've played like the top teams in the ACC over the last month. So when they get into this game against North Carolina, it's going to be a step down in competition for them at home too. I think I'm going to tell you on that one, man, we both need to get one up on the board here. Started off hot, had a little setback here. Air Force cost me on the back door week before last. Got my doors blown off last weekend, but hey, I'm feeling good. I think we're going to be back on the winning side. Any secondary bets that you like?
Well, I wanted to brag first because, last week mine was Indiana and UCLA over 53.5. Indiana got that by themselves, and then UCLA tacked on 6 to really make it look good. So I covered with these, and if I could get one, if Syracuse takes care of business tonight, I'm even Steven on the season for best bets. After starting off like a absolute clown show, has Urban Meyer would say it's a clown show. It's a complete clown show. All right. I want to get to another best bet. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
my next one would be, because I strongly considered it, would be Minnesota at home against Michigan State tomorrow. If you can get it -3 Minnesota, I saw that. I saw -3.5. I like both of those. I like Ohio State, especially now it's ticked down to 19.5. Now, who knows? Anything could happen. Maybe Penn State will make this like a 17-point game. I'll be shocked if this is like Ohio State only wins this game by 19 or less. I think Ohio State's going to win this game, by around 4 touchdowns. And if they win by 3 touchdowns, then you still win the bet. So I like Ohio State as well as one of my secondary bets. You?
The one that I'm looking at is Pitt at Stanford over 51.5. You look at the Pitt's total right now. I mean, they are putting up 40+ points a game, just absolutely bombs over Baghdad as far as throwing the football with a true freshman. They are absolutely cooking. So I'm looking at that one, and then there was another one. Rutgers at Illinois, 62.5 seems kind of high to me total. I know Illinois secondary is kind of suspect, and that's kind of Rutgers' strength, throwing the football down the field. They're playing at Illinois. It's an earlier game. Like 62.5 may be a tad high. That might be something to look at as well.
I like that. It is weird. Rutgers, you talk about their offense, you think of running the ball, especially with Schiano there and playing good defense. I think they have the worst defense in the Big Ten this year. I think they're 18 out of 18. It's hard to be worse than some of these teams in the Big Ten at anything. And Rutgers, I think, is dead last. Last time I checked, they were 18th out of 18. And then you think of them running the ball. They can't really run the ball well this year, but they can throw it a little bit. But they have a bad defense. I'm with you, though. That's too many points, especially – I'll have to look at the forecast, especially now. I bet you that's going to be a wind tunnel tomorrow in Champaign. So I'm with you on that. Good luck throwing the ball in that place if it's windy. All right. I want to ask you this, and I have my answer ready to go. So I can go first. So as you think about it, unless you want to go first, the question is predict, and you get one choice. Predict who will be Penn State's next head coach. Not who you would want, but who you think it'll be. If you had to bet your house on it, who do you think it'll be? I think I'm
going Jeff Brom.
Okay. I'm going Mike Elko.
Woo! You think Elko will leave Texas A&M?
Here's why. Do you know where he went to college? Penn. University of Pennsylvania. He's from just over the river in New Brunswick. I think it's just over the river. I don't know my Philadelphia area very well, and like the Jersey. That might be further north Jersey now that I think about it. But he's from Jersey, and went to college at the University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
I think he went to A&M.
But he has Texas A&M humming right now, and I mean they got some dudes down there, and a little bit of oil money. I don't know what his buyout is, but what do you think? I'm sure all of our listeners have been hearing the noise. What do you think about the chatter with Heartline?
I'm not buying it.
You're not buying it?
I'm not buying it at all. I've had sources tell me don't worry about that. Now, could they say, okay, we're going to pay Brian. I'm going to make Brian Hartline the first $15 million a year head coach. Yeah, if they do something like that, okay. Right. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm hearing there's nothing to worry about there. Yeah. And if I'm betting your house, which were the terms I believe we agreed on, I am picking Mike Elko. Even if I'm betting my house, I think because, I think he would. Now, I don't know. Maybe they love College Station, but he's an East Coast guy, not just where he grew up and everything, but then even went to college, played at Penn. Worked a lot on the East Coast, was a coach at Duke. I know that's more southeast, obviously. Coached at Notre Dame. I don't know, man. I think as long as they give him now, that's one you might need to give him $15 million because A&M will pony it up. They've got that oil money. There's not a lot of oil in Happy Valley, but that'd be my pick. Jeff Brom will be in the mix. And being a Louisville grad, I think he'll probably stay there, but Elko. But you're not buying my Elko pick, are you?
Yeah, a lot of these poly markets and stuff. They got Brom as the favorite. They had Heartline as the second favorite. So I'll be fascinated to see how that plays out. I tell you, the Michigan State. I think that job's eventually going to open up. Oh, that's my son back there. He's trying to peek. He's trying to peek in. He has school in about 45 minutes.
I forget it's so early there. My goodness.
It's only 7:26 here. He's peeking in. He's out there. He's hyped up, ready for Halloween.
What's he going as tonight?
Oh, I think he has like a little police uniform or something like that. Yeah, so he's So he has all of his little neighborhood friends, and our neighborhood does a really good job with trick-or-treating and all of that stuff. So the dads will walk around with a beverage in a koozie and watch all the kids go crazy.
Had plenty of that last night. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I might have been as I was passing out candy in my garage. I had like a little card table set up. I had my laptop up there, and I might or might not have had a little koozie myself with an adult libation in it. So yeah.
He's hyped up. Jay Book gets to go out there and dominate some kids at his elementary school on the soccer field, because I'm in the dad's club. And so the privilege of being in the dad's club at the elementary is you get to come to school and play on the playground at recess. And so him and his soccer team and a bunch of the other kids, they're always playing soccer every day. So I'm about to go out there and go dominate some kids. If I contact you next week, Dave, and said I can't be on the show because I tore ACL, now you're going to know why, because one of those kids went out there and slid tackle me on the recess.
The good news is you're not just a former college football player. You've stayed in great shape. I know this firsthand. You can tell that you don't miss a day in the gym, my friend. I'll get you out of here in this. I want to circle back on Julian Sand. You said, you think there's a good chance that he's going to be in New York as a finalist. I agree. I think I'm starting to think that if I had to just pick one, it would be Sand to win it. I'm not saying he will win it, but you said if you give me Sand or the field, I'm taking the field. But Mendoza's the betting favorite. Right now, Sand, depending on the sports book, is tied with Ty Simpson with the second best odds. Not a lot of people are talking about that. You have Diego Pavia is in the mix. You have Marcel Reed is in the mix from A&M. Man, I think now with the leash coming off a little bit, I think Sand is going to he keeps moving up. It was like he was like 14-1. Now it's all the way down to like 4-1. So, and that was like 2 weeks ago, he was 14-1, like before the Wisconsin game. Yeah, man, I think Sand will be in New York as a finalist. And if I had to pick one, I think he's going to end up beating out Mendoza. We might have that Big Ten championship game being the Big Ten championship for the number one seed and for the Heisman.
Hey, hear me out, Dave. Hear me out. YouTube, ESPN dispute, right? It's probably going to be a blackout for the ESPN games. So who's going to be airing tomorrow? All of Big Ten products, Fox, CBS, NBC games on YouTube tomorrow, talking about millions of people. So a lot of that viewership is now going to be shifting over to, probably Ohio State, the number one team. So you're probably going to have an influx of viewers and voters. Perfect opportunity for Julian Sand to put on an absolute clinic tomorrow. And if he does, that's why I said if they open it up and let him go nuclear tomorrow, that's really going to catapult his ratings around the nation. Because right now, you're always going to get the people in the South. They're going to hate on Ohio State regardless. They're going to try to pull for their people. And I would say this: if you can get Julian Sand 80%, 300 yards against Penn State, that's going to be a heck of a showing.
Just so there's no confusion, I believe I'm reading Tim here on YouTube correctly. He's saying Fox, we can't watch it. No, you can watch it on Fox. That's where Ohio State's playing. J-Book's talking about this is just if you have YouTube TV. They're in a dispute right now with ESPN. And last night, they just pulled ESPN's channels off. Typically, these things get resolved right before the game start on Saturdays. So if you have YouTube TV, maybe it'll get resolved. But like J-Book says, from our perspective, man, let's just have everybody watch Big Ten football this week. I love that. I didn't even think about that. Good place. People are saying in the chat, good point out of you. Always thinking deeper, JB.
Well, I know this whole thing was a scam. Once ESPN started having their on-air personalities reading the hostage message, which was verbatim for everybody, that right there should have been a red flag. Like, man, something's amiss here. Like, they're trying to scam people, and they usually don't call out like a network whenever there's these type of disputes. And if you had clicked on YouTube, even driving around, listening to ESPN radio, they were talking about YouTube. They never mentioned like the actual distributor. And this dispute might go very long. And I don't know, man. I might have to look in. I hate to get rid of YouTube because I enjoy the quad box and I got the NFL Network tied up on that. But I might have to look at that box stuff that everybody's been talking about, to where you can get everything as a backup for these type of situations here.
Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, great stuff. We bounced around a lot, as we are wont to do. Great show. I appreciate your insights as always, my friend. You have a good weekend.
All right, talk to you next week.
Have fun with the soccer and the trick-or-treating and everything else. All right, man.
I'll text you and let you know if I made it out of there alive, or if these kids tore me up out there, man. I might be limping around for the next couple of days, but I told them, I was like, hey, I'm coming out there focused. Y'all better get your mind right.
I bet you're going to tear them up. We'll see. Yeah, let me know.
All right, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, man. He is the great Jonah Booker. Thank you to J Book. And thanks, of course, to all of you. I appreciate you guys very much. I'll be with you after the game tomorrow, what we learned live immediately following the game. We're going to hear early from Garrick Hodge, live from Ohio State, and before post-game interviews. He'll be there because it's a big recruiting day, so I'm going to get Garrick on to give you guys the latest on recruits who are at the game and just the latest on Buckeye recruiting. We'll also get Garrick's thoughts on the game itself. I'll have Heath Schneider on the show, a.k.a. Heater, to give his post-game takes. And, after post-game interviews, we'll have Patrick Murphy and Steve Hellwagon on to give the latest from post-game interviews, their thoughts on the game. And throughout the show, I'll give, the main things that I learned. I like to start the show with the three main things that I learned during the game, the biggest things that I think matter the most for the Buckeyes moving forward. So there you go. What we learned live immediately following the game tomorrow. Hope you guys can join me for that. Thanks again to J-Book. Thanks to all of you. I appreciate it very much. I know J-Book does as well. Hope everyone has a great day and a great weekend. Go Bucks. And I know you're still basking.